The last lecture we started Vedas and we completed Rig Veda. Going to the next Ved, that is Yajur Ved, let's first revise what all things we studied. In Vedas, we learnt about the term itself, Vedas, which means knowledge. And looking forward, Mangaldev Shastri ji, he himself has said that be it Vedas or Vidya, they are the same thing. For example, be it Dhanur Ved or Dhanur Vidya. In Latin term, the term is Videre, which also means knowledge or wisdom or vision. Going forward, we learnt that all these Vedas, the origin has to be from the Almighty Lord Brahma when he was breathing, and there the Vedas were created. Four Ritvis saw this creation. These Ritvis were Hota or Hotri, then Adhvaryu, then Udgata, and the fourth was Brahma. Different karmas of all these Ritvis was written in different Vedas. In Rig Ved, we find the mention of Hotra. He is the person who is in charge of conducting all those yagna. In Rig Ved, it's a lot of things we learn about different aspects. The most important is it is divided into two krams. One is Mandal and then is Avak. In Mandal, we find close to 10 divisions. It is a Gotra Mandal or Rishi Mandal, we call it. We learn about different rishis. The most prominent are the Sapt rishis. From 2nd to 7th division, it is said to be the old one. And from 8th to 10th, including the first division, they are the new one. In 1st and 10th, they are the newest of all the mandals. Then we learnt about different sources of Vedas, where we Rig Veda. We found that Patanjali has mentioned there are 21 branches of Rig Veda, wherein we just find 5 which are still available, in which just 1 is available which could be read, and it is Sakal branch. Moving forward, we learnt that in Rig Vedas different things are mentioned. It has a different text about scientific achievements, it has science involvement, it has a mention of a plant name as Som. Also, we learned about different suktas being there. In third mandal, we study about the Gayatri Mantra, which was written by Vishwamitra, sage Vishwamitra. In seventh, we learn about Dashraj war that happened between Sudas and 10 other kings. It was written by Vashisht. And in 10th division, we learn about Purush Sukta, which is the anatomy of Virat Purush, that is sense and organs we learn about. In that too, we study about Nadi Shukta, or the praises written for the worship of rivers, in which we talk about 25 rivers in altogether. In these 25 rivers, the most important one is said to be Sindhu. The most pious, the Pavitra one is Saraswati. And also the next portion we learn about Yamuna and also Ganga. They are also mentioned quite applicably. The next most important thing we learn in Rig Veda is about the principle of deism, which is Deovad, wherein we talk about different responsibilities that man possesses, and it is the intellect of the man which is the last weapon to find out all those things which is happening in this complete world, and it is also the last right. In the next part, we learn about the philosophical Sukta, which is also known as the Darshanik Sukta, in which we get to know about the Rit and the principle of soul and body, everything, which is world order. Coming forward, we find a Samvad Sukta, wherein the discussion or the conversation, that development is being taken forward to the next monumental things which occurred in our literature, Samvad literature, which is Brahmans and Aranyakas and Upanishads, where we find mention of Purvashi and Ururva, and then Yam Yami. All of these combined together, we completed Rig Veda, and Rig Veda was this. Now let's start Yajur Veda. The second Veda which is said to be in line after Rig Veda is Yajur Veda. Just one more thing, we also learned about the time period. By Max Muller, it was said 1200 BC. By Lokmanya Tilak, Bal Gangadhar Tilak ji, he said it is 6000 BC. And the pre-Vedic, after the historians found it out to be, it was close to 2500 BC. So I guess it is not even like 10 minutes and we have revised completely. Please make this your habit, that before initiating any new thing, anything new you are learning, always revise it, remember it. That's fine. Now let's start. Yajur Veda. When we talk about Rig Veda, we learnt that there are hymns written, there are verses written, wherein different aspects have been provided so as to please the lords and God and goddesses. In Yajur Veda, we learn about the second Ritvij, which is Adhvaryu, the what all things he is to do. Let's start. See, prose mantras different from Rik and Sama. Last time we saw this Rik, it was nothing but Richas. These Richas are a way of speaking those mantras in form of poetic form. These are Richas and Sama. But this time the prose is, it is again a way of singing, a way of presentation, but this time it is in the passage form. It is not in the form of verses, it is in the passage form. That is why we call it prose. Yajurved is written in both passage as well as verse. Remember this thing. Both of these things are available in Yajurveda. Then the next portion, that is the origin part. How did we get to know about this word? The word Yajus is the origin for Yajur, which means Yagna. Yagna, I have already told you in the previous lecture itself, Yagna nothing but the ceremonial, the sacrificial ceremony. See, there is a fundamental thing that is there in our ideas, our values. We try to repay the wrong deeds we have done, and it is done through yagnas. The repentance or the thing which is there in our head that something bad has happened, something wrong has been done, it needs to be corrected. For correcting all of these things, these are yagnas which are mentioned in our Vedas. So, this yajus, it itself means, the word itself is from yajus, and it means yagnas. So the most important Veda which dictates about the yagnas to happen to occur is Yajurveda. Get to that. Now the second, it is ritual based Veda. In Rig Veda, we learnt about different aspects wherein we found that scientific things were also mentioned, then philosophical texts were also mentioned. See, in all our Vedas, everything is mentioned. Let me be sure about this thing. Let me be straightforward about this thing. In all our Vedas, everything is mentioned. Just that we find different aspects, which is the majority portion. As we say, na, the air we inhale is about that air which has major portion of oxygen and very minimal portion of carbon dioxide. That is atmospheric carbon dioxide. But as we exhale that air, it again has nitrogen, oxygen, and carbon dioxide. But here carbon dioxide is in quite an inflated amount. Remember this thing. So the same portion is ritual based Vedas, wherein the Yajur Ved has maximum thing which are deliberately performed, said that they are in ritual form, which is to have their acknowledgement about the society which is there, about the system that is happening. So remember this thing, it is ritual based Veda. I said that the Ritvik we talked about last time also, it was Hotra in Rig Ved. The second Ritvik which is mentioned is Adhvaryu. I have already told you what Adhvaryu is exactly. He is that person whose responsibility was to get all those things which are necessary for the performing of yagna. Remember this thing. So for performing all of it, the main priest or the principal person who is giving all of these reading out all the Vedic chants and all the Vedic mantras, it was Hotra. But the person in charge of providing with all the materials, making Havan Kund or the Yagna Kund, all of this was the work of Adhvaryu. His mention, the mention of his karmas, what things he has to do, is mentioned in Yajurveda. Sometimes there is a dispute that people say it is that the person who conducts yagna for Yajurveda is Adhvaryu. But what I have learned, what I have seen of with various influence and various books, it is that the karma which is mentioned of Adhvaryu, what is the karma of Adhvaryu, it is mentioned in Yajurveda. So please remember this thing. The next portion. There is nothing different between the things which were happening in Rigvedic time and then when we got to know about the Yajurved. See, there isn't a lot of difference between the time period when Rigved was written and when Yajurved was written. I said all those four Vedas had their origin by Lord Brahma himself. So everything was almost simultaneously. But implementation part that was found to be in the later part. So all those rituals, when our society became so bedridden about rituals, we started doing everything for the pains of all those things happening. In our text it is mentioned there are five sort of yagnas wherein we try to please our god, we try to please our ancestor, we try to please our manushya, all bhut and everything. So all these five types of yagnas are there, these rituals are there. So in Yajurveda nothing but the most important section is that we find all of these section about relating to yagnas, relating to rituals, and this is all mentioned in this beautiful text which is Yajurveda. Now the parts of Yajurveda, it's an important thing. Yajurveda is divided into two parts. One is Shukla Yajurveda, and then the second one is Krishna Yajurveda. In the starting itself, I told you Yajurveda has both, which are prose and as well as verses. In prose, we find it is written in the form of a passage. In verses, it is written in the more of a form of poem or something like poetic sort of thing is being used. You must have read about figure of speeches. In that poetic sense is used. The most important part of Yajurveda is Shukla Yajurveda and Krishna Yajurveda. Understand the meaning of Shukla and Krishna. Any person who is from Hindi background, he must be knowing about this thing. But let me tell up to you people. See, in our calendar, which is Vikram Samvat or the Indian calendar we use, the other calendars also, we divide the complete month into two portions. That is 15 day portion, which is like the lunar day. So in lunar, one is Krishna Paksh and the other is Shukla Paksh. Krishna Paksh means the waxing moon because it is related to dark. The literal meaning of Krishna here is dark. And Shukla, it means bright part. In our calendar, this is the meaning. That is the portion wherein from the portion where we get to, that is full moon day, it is Shukla part. And when we go to the that is Amavasya, the no moon day, it is the Krishna part. But in Yajurveda, understand this thing, Shukla and Krishna have been used to tell about the mixture or the composition of what mantras they hold. In Shukla portion, it is just the collection of mantras. Understand this thing. Purely it is collection of mantras. There is no nothing added to it. There is nothing different in it. It is pure collection of mantras. Herein the basic portion they have is related to I can say it has homogeneous. It is homogeneous in nature. But when I talk about Krishna, it is heterogeneous in nature. For example, the reason behind this is in Krishna Yajurveda, we have collection of mantras as well as Brahman Granth. Understand this thing? Here we purely have mantras, that is why we call it Shukla, and here we have collection of mantras as well as Brahman, that is why we call it Krishna. So understand this thing, it is not about purity or anything, it is more about the compositional purity. Getting it? That is not like it has something which is which has bad context or something which is written in a bad sense. No, the compositional purity, it doesn't have compositional purity because it has mantras as well as Brahman Granths, but it surely has and purely has just mantras. So we have two parts of Yajurveda, which is Shukla Yajurveda as well as the Krishna Yajurveda. I get that you people understood it. Let's move forward. Now let's talk about the different parts. First we will take the branches of Shukla Yajurveda. Shukla Yajurveda. In Shukla Yajurveda it is Madhyanika and Kanva. In Madhyan Din, what happens is different aspects are being discussed related to Yagyavalya. Who is Yagyavalya? Initially, he was just a boy, a Brahman boy who wanted to study, and he studied a lot under guidance of a guru. That guru taught him everything. He was quite good at catching, and everything happened perfectly. Then what happens is he is the son of Vajaseni, and you people know that in our tradition there is we have a tendency of calling sons from the name of mother, as we say Kante for all those all the Pandavas, we call them Kante. We call Radha Putra Karna, Radhe, we call him like that way. So always remember ki we are a country, we are a tradition, we are humanity who has shrunk upon respecting our ladies, our women, our mothers and our sisters. So we always used to call all our kids, it was a tradition that kids were called or named after the name of their mother. You people must remember one thing. Back few days back, when there was this cricketing thing happened, for one day all of these boys named their mother, and they had their mother's name written on their back, be it Dhoni, be it Virat Kohli, or be it Rohit Sharma. So this was quite a thing that was observable. But we followed a tradition, we had those values where the person or the child was named after the mother herself. So always remember Vajraseni. This is another name of Yagyavalya, and this is because the mother's name is Vajraseni. So Yagyaval, the son of Vajraseni. So I was here in this portion. What happened? This Yagyaval, he was studying under a guru, and this guru was teaching, and he was quite a bright student. He used to learn everything and then deliver, and it was all going good. Then there came a king. King said that to the guru that I want to perform some yagna. Please send a few of your disciples so that they can help me in conducting it. And every day a different disciple was being sent. And when it was the turn of Yagyaval, he went there, and this king was quite an arrogant king. He thought that it was money all these Brahmins needed, and he used to throw money and then say, and he was quite disrespectful. And when Yagyaval went there and he tried to be so arrogant again, at the last portion, what happens is they have this rice, you all people know, akshat, we say in Hindi, this akshat or the rice, which is quite important for each and every performance of any ritual in our society. When this akshat was being handed over the king said that, being arrogant, he said, just put it down, I don't want to have it. Yagyaval was okay silent because he was sitting in this yagna, so he did put it down. After he did put it down and he went, after taking all those things which was given to him by the king saw where the akshat was put, there were few sprouts which came out, and he was shocked because he repeatedly saw it was all barren land, nothing was being cultivated there, nothing could have been cultivated there. But when Yagyaval did put some akshat, it was quite some sprout. So the next day again, the king asked for Yagyaval so that he could come and again perform all those yagnas. And Guru asked Yagyaval, please go and do this thing. But Yagyaval said that I'm not going to go because he's quite arrogant, he's quite stupid, he doesn't respect any of us, I'm not going to perform anything for him. And Guru said that you're refusing my orders. So he said very calmly, sincerely, that Gurudev, I really don't want to go there because it is quite disrespectful on your thing also, it is against my dignity, I'm not. Then Guru became angry and said that, now come on, vomit everything that I have taught you, give out everything that I have taught you. And this portion here, Yagyaval vomits everything, and this part is known as Taittiriya. We are going to learn about it in the later part also. Just remember that it is known as Taittiriya, and this came out to be this thing. But after when he did vomit everything out, he went to Surya Narayan, the Lord Surya, where he asked for the gyan or the knowledge from him, and he said that Lord Surya, please give me some knowledge so that I can also progress from here forward. And then Lord Surya or the Lord Sun, he teaches him, Yagyaval, everything, and all those thoughts which were taught by Lord Surya to Yagyaval is known as Madhyan. This is the portion, the Shukla Yajurved portion, which was developed by Yagyaval by the teachings gained from sun during the day. So that is why during the day portion, that is the midday portion, that is why it is named Madhyan Din, the center portion of the day or the afternoon portion. So remember this thing, this was the story related to Yagyaval. I believe that you people will understand how did this origin, how it had its origin here. And then let's move forward. So the next which we are going to learn is Kanva. So what happened is we don't find a lot of document about this portion or this part of Shukla Yajurved, but it is practiced mostly in Maharashtra region. Remember this point, it is one important. And the origin is said to be by the branch, the disciples of Rishi Kanva. This Rishi Kanva and all his disciples used to learn from him by that Shruti and Smriti tradition that we have already learnt about, and this Kanva portion was derived. So there are two portions of Shukla Yajurved. One is Madhyan Din, which is due to the Yagyaval's creation, because whatsoever he learnt, he wrote was from him. And the second was Kanva, the Rishi, the sage Kanva. He was the person and all his disciples, they used to work together, and whatsoever was taught, and it was taken into consideration. Now see, what did it hold? It had mantras of pure yagna. I've already told you the major portion of Yajurveda dictates about performing those sacrificial ceremonies which were called yagna. So it held pure mantras. This is something, understand this thing, this is something different here written. Here they are pure, these are pure mantras. pure mantras for yagna. Complete mantras were given. They had different associations to tell into what is needed, what is not needed, and this was in the Yajurved. There are 40 chapters which tell about different types of yagna. I've already told you, I have discussed with you, there are 5 most important, the main sort of yagna, which are like Manu Yagna, which we talk about, the Pitra Yagna, where we talk about our ancestors, Dev Yagna, where we talk about the Devtas or the lords, then the other portion is Manushya Yagna, where we talk about different human beings, then Bhut Yagna, where we talk about different organisms, or the complete organisms, the boundary we find in, so earth itself. So these are 5 which are further divided into different yagnas. This is Ashwamedh, Rajasyu, Pushmedh, Som Yagya, Pratmev Yagya. Ashwamedh Yagya is like expansion, some sort of geopolitics. It is so when a person or the king wants to expand his horizons, horse is being let free, wherein he vagabonds, being a vagabond, that horse roams here and there, what all territory he roams. If someone challenges or tries to catch that horse, then he is challenging the king himself. If he doesn't challenge, or if that horse has not been caught, it is sensed that those countrymen or those people or that king has tried to give out his sovereignty to the people, that yeah, he is going, that he is the powerful king. The best example you find it in Mahabharata as well as Ramayana. In Ramayana, we remember this thing when Lord Ram performed Ashwamedh Yagya. It was their son, Love and Kush, who stopped it, and further things unfolded. So remember this portion. Now next is Purush Sukta. We have learned again it in Rig Veda, Purush Sukta, what all things are there. But this time we find the philosophical element about the description of creations. Purush Sukta, I told you, we know about different creative parts, which is sense and organs, where we get to understand what different things are. But in this one, we also find the philosophical reasons why it was created, why it was not created, what could have been done, why it should be done, and all those things have been found in the Purush Sukta itself. The next is Surya Sukta, where again we learn about philosophies derived from sun. It is again a philosophical text which narrates different aspects, what sun is, how could sun be there. See, understand this thing I have already told you in the last lecture. We humans were the first to sleep on our back. Because of sleeping on our back, we could see sky, we could think about it. When we saw stars, when we saw moon at night, and when we saw sun in the morning, we thought, why is it so? And sun is said to be the last and the best source of each and every energy that is in this entire universe. So we learned this thing quite early. So we thought, when the source of energy is sun, the source of knowledge also has to be sun, because if there isn't a sun, we drew this reference also, the metaphor we drew for coming out of the darkness of illiteracy or in subdowned intelligence. It is important we get the light of the sun. So that is what we learned. So in Surya Sukta, the name itself tells you it is about the Surya, the sun. There are 40 chapters, and in the 40th chapter, I already told you 40. In the 40th chapter, we learn about Ishvashu Upanishad. This is first and the is in the shortest Upanishad. In the further portion in our syllabus also, we have all Upanishads and we will be discussing them. But remember, in the 40th chapter of Yajurved, we find that this Ishvaishu Upanishad, this is being asked. It is important to remember this portion. Herein, it is considered to be the most ancient also. It is a short Upanishad, very short, very compact one, but it was the first Upanishad to be wrote. In the later part, we learned that the Upanishads are quite relatively new, and they hold the same philosophical texts which are derived from here, the Vedas itself. Remember this. Now the next, that is Krishna Yajurved. There it has quite few branches, 4 branches: Taittiriya, Maitrani, Kat, and Kapilasthal. Let's first learn about Kapilasthal. We just know it is a branch of Krishna Yajurved, but it is incomplete in nature. We don't find lot of things about it, so we don't study it, because we know it is incomplete. Here and there we find few pages, so we just get to know few things. Like a book named Indica, written by Megasthenes, it is said, no, we don't find the complete book, we just find few references here and there. So the same way Kapilasthal, this portion of Krishna Yajurved, it is incomplete in nature. That is the reason we don't study it, don't perform any functions, don't perform any rituals which are written in it. Because see, our Vedic texts were written and compiled in such a way that performance led it to some sort of result. If you do it wrong, if you follow the wrong procedure, then there were consequences also. Looking to the next, we find Taittiriya. See, I have already told you this Vedas hold different sort of yagnas which are to be performed. There are 5 main type of yagnas, but there are subsets also with differentiate the exact definition, exact meaning, and what exact purpose it holds. Some are Rajashu and Ashwamedh. These two yagna are performed so as for the geographical expansion or the territorial expansion by kings. We have learnt about these things. You must have heard about many a times if you have watched dramas like Ramayana and Mahabharata. If you have read them or ever seen them, you must have seen both Rajashu Yag, also the Ashwamedh. Rajashu Yag is like sort of coronation ceremony of the person who's taking in charge of the kingdom, or the Raja to be. Yuvraj has been coronated as king, then it is the Rajasuyag which is being performed. Ashwamedh is completely for territorial expansion, where a horse is being sent out, he roams around, and what all territory he roams, if he is not challenged, the complete territory comes under the under sovereignty of the person who is in charge, and it is just the person other has surrendered his sovereignty to that king. Also, what we find here is Vashisht and Suda's conversation. Remember in Rig Ved we talked about the Dasraj Yagya. Dasraj war that happened between Sudas and 10 other kings. In this war itself, the conversation between Vashisht, the person who wrote that thing, and Sudas, the king, the conversation we find in Taittiriya. Next is Maitrani. It is concerned about those things which are not for each and everyone. The word historic here means all those things which are just for people who could understand it, who are interested in knowing the different truths of the society, different truth of the world. It is for them itself. It is not for each and everyone to understand, because it could not be understood with a layman perspective. You need to take in-depth analysis, analogies, and then understand what different sort of understanding it is being developed and it is being said. So in Maitrani you find about all those things which have high influence of our thinking, our capacity to understand, our knowledge base. We find it in different spiritual knowledge also. So, and the last is Kat. It just means something related to wood. What happened is this holds different texts and antonymies and different representation. When we learnt about the Kasta Manishis, which is full of, completely has elements related to Upanishads. When we'll talk about Upanishad, I will remind you people that those elements, those stories, those vakyas, those spiritual thoughts which are there in the Upanishads are being borrowed from the Kat portion itself. So it will be the later portion you learn about Kathopanishad. Then also we find these references. So remember this thing. All these hold the key or the elements of the stories. In earlier lecture again I have told you that every story that was to be told has already been told. The essence, Vedas hold those essence, those responsibility, those thought behind all those things which is happening. All those things we will be learning in different as well. The narration will be different, so just remember this thing. Moving to the next portion. Now what is Krishna Yajurved? In the starting itself, I told you the Yajurved holds both in prose form as well as the rhymes form. In Hindi, we call it Gadyatmak as well as Padyatmak. The Krishna Yajurved is the main thing that has both the things. In Shukla, we don't find it in both. If there is a question which holds and which Veda holds the complete narration, which is in prose as well as in verses, you will say it has to be Krishna Yajurved, because in this Yajurved, this part of the Yajurved, we find both the things, which is in the mantras form or the verses form as well as the passage form, which is also known as the prose form. So all those things, rhyme mantras and prose appropriations, are found in Krishna Yajurved, along with mantras used in yagnas, descriptions of the methods and procedures of suitable yagna. In the starting I told you that our yagna, when I told about Kapisthan, that we don't have complete information. That is why we're not performing the methods or the methodology that is being given there, because there are responses, there are results which could be initiated because of those things. So if there are results, if there are reactions, there are consequences also. So it is important to understand what all things are being held at the realm of these beautiful texts that we have endured in our lifetime, that we have endured in our beautiful civilization. So all those things are written in this portion itself, where we find to know about different methods as well as procedures, and also what are the results obtained after performing them. After performing the rituals, the sacrificial rituals or the yagnas, what are the results we get? It is written in Krishna Yajurved. This is what we find. Moving to the next portion. See, another characteristic that is an important part, Sutratmak Mantra. All those things which are written in Rig Veda or the Yajur Veda, we find their description to be understandable. There are single syllables such as Om. We know this holds the frequency of the world. It has the most visible frequency that is in complete solar system or the entire universe. The frequency when being matched, it holds the frequency of Om itself. So we have elements, we have those mantras, single syllables which produce these sort of frequency. We understand what is the need of this frequency, and from itself the Sutratmak mantra we find it Om and Swaha. Why it is we understand why it is important to put, whensoever these yagnas were performed, you must have seen when the hotra he starts performing that yagna for the Yajman who is sitting there, and Jajaman starts sacrificing those elements which are there. There is always initiation with Om and then it ends with Swaha. Why is it so? All those details are being found in these portion itself. They tell us why all these things are, and in the later portion, the Brahmans also, we get to understand what all these things are in the further detailed version. So remember, these are those. Now next portion, you remember the Hotras, then the Advaryus we told about. It was said what is the karma, that is karma of Advaryu, the second Ritwij. It is written in the Yajurved itself. So there were many puzzles, many riddles which were being played or which were being said during that yagna which was happening. Understand, not just sacrificial things which we are giving or the sacrifices in the ceremony, there are many performances also. These performances are again to please the Lord or the Almighty, which is being worshipped or for whom this yagnas is performed. So these riddles were played or being asked by each of these Ritwij, and these Ritwij used to perform the yagnas in a ceremonial way. So we find that some compositions of Ayurveda were puzzles. These priests used this as an important thing, important occasion, and used them, asking the other priest, asking the other Ritwij, and then a complete environment of serenity was formed wherein people used to learn from these things. It is a sort of Shastrat. It is a sort of Shastrat. Herein the performance takes place wherein people start asking questions, they give answers, these answers then contemplate to further questions, and then again answers, where people who are sitting around, they get to know about different details, different aspects of the life and different philosophical texts. So remember, it is not just about performing simple sacrificial ceremonies, those yagna. It is more about making that environment ready, making that environment into aspirational one where people can also learn rather than just participate. This is what is written in our Yajur mantras, and these things are being provided. Also, it tests about food and entertainment. Then there are many mysteries which are related to yagnas. What are the results that are going to be, what are the consequences that are going to be registered? All these things you find out, and the philosophical, and these lead to the philosophy of Upanishad. These Vedas are the most important text we have ever got. All our Upanishads, all our Aranakyas, all our Brahmans are then derived from the knowledge these Vedas hold. So all our Upanishads, have a deliberate expansion and deliberate explanation of these Vedas. Brahmans were an attempt after Brahmans, because that too was a tough language. Then again, the next effort was Upanishad. So these details are there in Upanishad. Again, when we will learn Upanishad, I will be telling you each and everything. So just as of for today, remember all of these, which are important portion from Yajur Ved. Now, there is always a belief, why should we learn these Vedas? Just now, I told you the important part of learning Vedas is to understand what all things we have in us. In the starting itself, I said you there were two sort of languages which was used to write these Vedas. One was Deviya Sanskrit, and then the other was Loki Sanskrit, the layman Sanskrit, which was being narrated or used between the people themselves, and one which had immense meaning, which held those capacities where understanding them was just just the thing of having great intellect. Not normal people could understand. So it was needed that every individual who was there in this entire world, because the purpose of Vedas was to explain how a person should live his life respectfully, dignified, and everything could be produced. For that, it was needed to interpret these Vedas. For them only the Brahmans and the Arnakas and Upanishads were mentioned. So these are the bedrocks. These Vedas are the bedrock of each and every material, the literature that we see. So it is important for us to understand this portion also. This here I complete this portion of Yajur Ved. We will meet in next lecture. So take care.